Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Backlog Banter. My name is Tucker Hazel, and I am doing a very impromptu, very low production value BLB video here today. And that is going to be my game collecting pickups from the last 3 months. I think I might have done a game pickups video like a year and a half ago or something like that. It's not something I do particularly often, but I have been picking up a lot of very strange games in the last few months. And so this is going to cover the games I got in September, October, and November. And it's not going to be any particular order. I'm just mixing all together all the games because that's how I do my collecting. Because I have interest in everything. And as you can see, not even an overlay. No, I'm not going to do any editing. I mean, I might put on like an end screen, but who knows? I mean, this is cheap, fast, and easy. Cheap, unlike some of the games I bought today. But I've been doing so many other videos with Dev Dive and with NS and recording with friends and reviewing Metaphor and reviewing Silent Hill, and it's been a lot. So we're doing this just to relax, just to chill and talk about some games. But screw it, I'm going to start with the games that are most interesting and that I'll probably put on the thumbnail and that most people would be impressed that I own. And that is the games that I got today. Now let me set the stage a little bit. I went to Half Price Books. I sold some games. Specifically, I sold every game that I had that was a PlayStation Greatest Hits or a Nintendo Select game because I don't want any of those in my collection. None of those red spines, none of those little golden crown in the corner. I don't want any of that shit. I had a few of them, so I got rid of them. I got rid of like Kingdom Hearts and Pac World 2 and Super Paper Mario, Pikmin 3. I mean, these are good games. They're interesting games, but I want the mainstream version of them. I don't want anything sticking out in my collection. I didn't have many, so I was selling those. And while I was in the line at Half Price Books, and they were like, looking through my shit and telling me how much it was worth, I noticed that there was a load of games that someone had just brought in that had basically just been gone through, but no one had gotten a chance to look at yet. I'm like, can I just buy these straight from this counter? And so they let me be the first person to take a look at them. And after they got the prices, and this is certainly the most I've ever spent on a small selection of games, and you'll see why in a second. That's because I now have not only a complete in box, very good condition, by the way, everything here is in pretty good condition, a complete in box copy of Parasite Eve 2 for the PlayStation 1. This cost me about $40, and I believe on like price charting it's going for like 90 or 100, so it was a very good deal. It's a game I have no connection to, but I knew it was a good deal, and I don't buy a lot of games because they're expensive. I buy them because I'm interested in them, but this was just a unique opportunity to get Parasite Eve 2. But what I really got is a a really good condition Silent Hill trilogy. Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, two PS2 games, one PS1 game, in great condition. All the inserts are in there. This jewel case, I mean, it might have been replaced at some point, but regardless, it's in really good condition. Weirdly enough, this Silent Hill 2 copy is not in like an actual PS2 box. I mean, usually you'd see the little slot here where you can store your memory card, but I'll replace that with an actual PS2 box, probably just from one of my whatever the hell games down there, like maybe Gretzky NHL or whatever. But I like Silent Hill quite a bit. I played this first game earlier this year, really loved it, but it was Silent Hill 2 that really got me in. But the thing that I always thought about Silent Hill, or what I knew about Silent Hill, is that these games are expensive. I mean, every time I would go into a retro game store, it'd be like the copy of Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, like sitting in the glass case that no one, like for years, that no one would buy because they would be charging like $250 for it. And so I think I spent $120 on Silent Hill, $90 on Silent Hill 2, and another $120 for Silent Hill 3. And those are very good prices for those games. I don't know how I feel about spending this much money on games. I've never bought expensive games like above MSRP until today. So this is something that I'm gonna have to sit with. But I also see them kind of as an investment. I don't really mean to sell them, but I could, and then they're probably only going to go up in value. And again, I could flip these right now, and I'd make like 1.5 or almost 2 times the profit. Like people would buy this Silent Hill 2 for $200, even though I paid $120 for it. So we're starting off big. You can click off now if you want. This is certainly the most like expensive classic collector-y games that I got. Were these four, but they're in some weird way they're also kind of like the games I'm least passionate about. I kind of just got them in the moment because I'm like, well, I take a good deal when I see it, and it's kind of an investment, and also it's just a good story, a good collecting story, like stumbling into this just great quality collection of games that are very rare. So yeah, I own those. But also today I got some significantly less exciting games. But hell, we're gonna talk about them here. I started going for Connect games. I saw these all on the shelves. I think none of them were more than like $6, and they're all in very, very good condition. Connect Disneyland Adventures, Connect Joyride, Connect Rush. Now, this actually doesn't have any inserts in it. Probably supposed to, but oh well. I don't really give a shit. Connect Star Wars. Interesting thing about this game is this is the one where they have a song where you're like, I'm Han Solo, and you can like dance to it. I don't know. That's kind of a meme. And Connect Sports Rivals. So, yeah, that's 5 Connect games. I don't know exactly off the top of my head how many Microsoft published Connect games there were, but it'd be fun to go for a complete set. I don't even have access to a Connect right now, but they're very cheap, and it's an interesting part of gaming history. And nobody talks about these games. I mean, look, there's 2 Disney games here. Well, technically 3. I don't know if they owned... Disney didn't own Star Wars at the time, so I guess the Star Wars game isn't a Disney game. But, yeah, it says LucasArts. But, yeah, I also want to collect games from published by Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, and you'll notice that trend through some of the games I also picked up here. But this is an easy way for me to fill up, 5 slots very quickly in my Microsoft gaming collection. So I bought those, and I'll get a Connect at some point. I'd like to make a video about them. I'd like to play these games because I think it's interesting. It's kind of something that's gone by the wayside. Another selection of games that I got came from my friend and kind of collecting inspiration, Mr. Botox Games. I guess link to his channel in the description. Maybe it's the most work I'm going to put into this video. He sold me a bunch of games that he had just had in bins in his closet because he gets everything from Goodwill. So he turned a pretty profit on the games that he sold me. He sold them to me for $5 each, which balanced out with some good games that were worth a lot more and some dumb games that were worth a lot less, but it balanced out to it was a good deal. And I gave him like $130 or something, so I got like 100. I got like 20 something games from him. They're gonna be sprinkled throughout this video, but here's a stack of some of them. He is not a PS1 guy, so he sold me a lot of his PS1 games. Let me filter out a couple of the ones that I know aren't from that day. Seen It, weird movie trivia game published by Microsoft for the Xbox 360. I love movies. I like games history, and it's interesting that I didn't even know that Microsoft made a movie trivia game. I see Ron Howard's Cocoon on the box there, which is one of my favorite movies. So I really actually would like to play this quite a bit. I wonder if it's backwards compatible on Series X. I'm trying to get a Series X right now. I have a Series S, but I just listed on Facebook Marketplace because for Black Friday I'd like to pick up a Series X. And I guess maybe in the comments of this I'll reply and let you know if Seen It can be played on the Xbox Series X. Because I like to play it, and I think it'd be fun to do with friends. Oh wait, it looks like these people are using like little buzzers. I wonder if I need those. I'll do a little research. I really don't know. Now this is the only game that I got in this entire thing that's not in very good condition. NFL Game Day 98. Now for those of you who don't know, Sony, if you look for this yellow, gold, orange diamond in the corner, that means it's a game published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, who make PlayStation. And they used to do all sorts of sports games. There's going to be a couple other sports games here. I'll just hold up the other one of them at least. This is NCAA Game Breaker 99. They did multiple football series. They did multiple basketball series. They did hockey. They did, obviously, baseball, the MLB. MLB The Show is a big deal. But I just want to collect some of these games. I don't think I'll go for complete sets of them, but they're very cheap. And this one has, like, schmutz on it. I've really tried my damnedest to clean it off. Everything else is pretty clean. I took off stickers and stuff, but this one has some weird shit on it that I just cannot remove. But I know you can replace jewel cases very easily, so I'll probably do that. But yeah, here's some random Sony published football games for the PS1. I wonder what the differences are between NCAA Game Breaker and NFL Game Day. I guess I don't know a lot about football. NCAA is like, is that college? NFL's not college. I don't know. I don't really know anything about football. Here is Newman Haas Racing for the PS1. Now, you might be like, Tucker, this isn't a Sony published game. There's no Yellow Diamond. I just learned that a few minutes ago, and to which I say, good job remembering. You've got a great memory, and there won't be a quiz later, but you get a gold star. But if you look for this little purple owl in the corner that says Psygnosis, Sony owned them. So this is a Sony game. Psygnosis published their own games, or published games. It was like a label under Sony that published games. You'll notice that this also says, it does not have the yellow diamond. It says 989 Sports in the corner. My camera's not focusing, but whatever. Just trust me. 989 Sports, another subcategory of Sony that they did own, and so these were their games. They were funding them, but it just doesn't have the yellow diamond on the box. But it requires a little bit of knowledge, and so I will be collecting Psygnosis games, which, Jesus, there are a lot of Psygnosis games on PS1. And I guess 989 Sports games, but a little PlayStation history for you there. Now we get into actually no questions asked, very obviously Sony games, because you got the yellow diamond in the corner. This is Grind Session. It's kind of a Tony Hawk style skating game for PS1. I really know nothing about it, but I know it's actually on PS Plus Classics, so I'd ultimately probably end up playing it there, just for like rewind and stuff. But yeah, Grind Session, pretty cool. Again, another thing that Sony kind of doesn't do nowadays is skating games. And I also got from Bo, most of these are from Bo, by the way. All these PS1 games are from Bo. Gran Turismo 1 and 2. Gran Turismo, longest running Sony franchise. I think I have almost all the games now. I have 1, 2, obviously. I have 3 A-Spec. I have 4. I have 5. I have 5 Prologue. And then I guess I just need 6, 7, and the PSP game. I'd like to have a complete Gran Turismo collection. Don't really know why, but I just think it's interesting. I like the fact that these are both 2-discers. But pretty cool, pretty cool. More Sony games. These are ones you are less likely to have heard of, except for this one. Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. It's Crash, published by Sony. I pointed in the wrong corner. I like Crash a lot. I've actually played this game via emulation, but it's got a little shimmery thing going on there. It's kind of cool. But I also love Naughty Dog, and I'd love to have every Naughty Dog game. I'm really, really close. I have every Uncharted game. I think now I have every Jak and Daxter game that they did, which is Jak 1, 2, 3, and Jak X Combat Racing. They did not do Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier, but I also have Daxter, so I'm going off a tangent. But the Crash games are the last sort of Naughty Dog frontier that I have to collect for. I also have The Last of Us 1, 2. But now I have Crash 2. I will need Crash 3, Crash 1, and Crash Team Racing. And then I guess my Naughty Dog collection will be complete, which would be pretty cool. But to the Sony games that you have no idea they did. Disney games. Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Disney Pixar's Bug Life. These are Sony games. Again, look for the yellow diamond. God, the lighting's terrible here. Yeah, there we go. Look for the yellow diamond. These are just like shitty 3D platformers that, for whatever reason, Sony licensed and published. It's another part of their history that I'm just going to need to dive into at some point. I'm sure these games aren't particularly great, but I have them. Let's see. Oh, another PS1. This did not come from Bo, but another random PS1 Sony game. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 2nd Edition. This does imply the existence of a 1st edition, and I believe there's also a 3rd edition, but this is crazy. That's a Sony game. I mean, just totally bizarre. And I got this for like $3. So if something's totally bizarre and I can get it for $3, that is my kind of day. There'll be some other. Oh, here's another one from Bo. Rabbids Party of Legends. I don't know. I just think the Rabbids games are kind of interesting. I actually like Rayman quite a bit, but the Rabbids sub-series is just fascinating. How many like weird spin-off party games they did. This is a Switch one that nobody talks about. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably play this at some point, but whatever. Let's see. Here's that games. No, this is just we're largely leaving the Bo sold this to me section. So check me on a bunch of other stuff. Again, collecting games published by Microsoft. Fable 1. Got this for like $7. Pretty good condition. Pretty cool. I've never played Fable, but I'd probably like to try this game out before the new one comes out. I think it's scheduled for next year. Let's see if it hits that. But now I have Fable 1. I have Project Gotham Racing 3 here. There's plenty of Forza games. People are very familiar with the Forza series, both Horizon and Motorsport. But Project Gotham Racing was actually their older racing series. And I really don't know anything about it. I couldn't even tell you. Okay, Bizarre Creations. As of 5 seconds ago, I can tell you who developed the Project Gotham Racing series. But yeah, I really don't know what makes it different from Forza. But again, something I'd like to do research on, and I'm glad I now have a collection, because just having something in a collection keeps it in my mind better. Like, I can go play it if I'd like to learn about it, but just having it there is a constant reminder that this is a part of games history. Don't forget about this. And I also collect Nintendo games, so here is, and there's some modern Nintendo games. Let's just talk about these. One of them somewhere else, but I buy all the new Nintendo releases, all the new Nintendo releases. I don't really buy the remakes or remasters that they do. But here's Mario & Luigi Brothership, which came out last week, and Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I've played and really love this game and reviewed this game. And I've yet to try Mario & Luigi Brothership, but I've heard it's like 40 hours. I'll give it a try. I'll play the opening few hours. But more than likely, that's where I'll stop, unless it really sucks me in, and then I'll love it. But, just wanted to let you know that I'm still collecting the currently released Nintendo games, and I will be doing so for the foreseeable future. Another team that I have a lot of affinity for is Don't Nod. Remember Me is actually their first game. You might know them best for Life is Strange, but Remember Me was the first game they made, even before they made Life is Strange. And Don't Nod is a team that I find so fascinating because of their consistent dedication to creating new IP. And Remember Me was obviously a good example of that. Interesting that it was published by Capcom. But I'd like to have a complete collection of physically released Don't Nod games, which is an interesting qualifier because only like 2/3 of their games ever got physical copies. This, obviously, Life is Strange, Life is Strange 2, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Jusant just got one, but I think it's only in the UK or in PAL. And they've done a bunch of random games. Twin Mirror didn't get one. I don't think Telling Lies got... Not Telling Lies. What's the Xbox one? Tell Me Why. Oh, yeah, those are very similar. I don't think Tell Me Why got one, but this is a good start to my Don't Nod collection because I just love them. I just think they're goofy and interesting, and I will certainly be picking up Lost Records if it gets a physical release, but man, I'm not counting on it. But I still play their games. I don't mind owning games digitally. I'm not that kind of sicko. Caleb, looking at you. Hitman 2. Never actually played a Hitman game, but I really would like to. I'm sure it's a series that I would like. But here's a good condition Hitman 2. This actually came from that same guy. Actually, both these games did. This Hitman 2 and Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. No red top, no red spine. This is the full-ass normal version of this game. I sold my my red Player's Choice, I think, version of Jak 1 today, and then I picked up Jak 1 again today, and now I feel a little bit better about myself. But yeah, these two games, Hitman 2 and Jak and Daxter, very good deals. $10 for this, $6 for this. Those came from that same stack that had Silent Hill and Parasite Eve. So whoever that was kept great care of their games. Jak and Daxter actually has this really interesting small insert in it that says, "Choose your adventure sweepstakes." It's got some weird gobbledygook imagery on there. It's called a game piece. I don't know. I'll have to look into what that actually means. But someone kept great condition of their games. Took great care of their games. And so I got to get them in good condition for a good deal at Half Price Books. Go check your local Half Price Books. See if they have anything interesting. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. More stuff that came from Half Price Books today. We Fit You. Never played Wii Fit. Probably will at some point because I'm that kind of jackass. But now I own Wii Fit Plus, and Wii Fit U, which is, I believe, every Wii Fit game. Got that today for like $3. MLB The Show 16. Now I am actually going for a complete collection of MLB The Show games, though I only want one of each year, and I want it on the highest console that it's on. I guess I'll probably have some miscellaneous handheld ones as well, but I'm getting there. These are like $4 a piece, so it really doesn't break the bank, but I just find it interesting that this kind of yearly sports series comes out of Sony. So I'm collecting them. And also, my Quantic Dream trilogy of Sony games is now complete. because I own Detroit Become Human alongside Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. And so I love this game. Actually, it's one of my favorite games on PS4. So I'm very, very happy to finally actually have a physical copy of this. Let's just keep going. More random shit. Super Mario Party Jamboree. This I played actually a bunch of this with my friends. This is easily the best Mario Party game I've played, and certainly one I've had the most fun with. I think this is a fantastic game, and it's the first time I've really genuinely enjoyed Mario Party. So good on you, 2024, for giving me a Mario Party game that I really liked. Freaky Forms Deluxe, Your Creations Alive, a 3DS game that is sort of a expanded re-release of a 3DS eShop game. This is published by Nintendo. If you look at the bottom corner there, much like the yellow diamond on Sony, if you look for the Nintendo logo, it's a Nintendo game. But apparently this game's not particularly great, but 3DS games are interesting to collect for now, that and Wii U, because the eShops are shut down, and so you can't get Freaky Forms anymore. Freaky Forms Deluxe is the only way to play it. And so this was actually maybe a little bit more expensive than I would have wanted to spend on it. I kind of like $35 something. I think that's like about what it goes for just in general at the moment. But yeah, pick it up, whatever. It's not gonna kill anyone, and it's one that'll probably just only get more rare over time. Wipeout Pure, Wipeout series, another Sony franchise. Ding ding ding, yellow diamond. That I'm going to collect. I believe this is the first one I have. But yeah, Wipeout I've really not played, but it's a long-running racing game from Sony, and I'm not even big in racing games, but I find Sony's history with racing games so fascinating because there's so many random franchises, and Gran Turismo and Wipeout are the two most iconic. But so I'd like to obviously have those, but there's plenty of other ones. If you go back and watch my every PlayStation game I own video, I delve into that with all sorts of stuff. So yeah, go watch that. I also have been buying PS5 games. I recently, as of like last summer, got my own PS5 that has a disc drive. But to be honest, I hadn't been buying many physical games for it. I owned like Balan Wonderworld and Destruction All Stars, which were like really cheap and easy to get PS5 games because they're both bad. But I've started buying more physical PS5 games just because it's fun to keep up with the current stuff. But these are ones I was able to get for cheap on a Black Friday, not a Black Friday, just a Walmart deal. 1, 2, and what was the other one? Oh, 3. I got Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Played this game on Switch earlier this year. Absolutely love it. I wanted to own it on PS5 because I don't think it looks or runs particularly great on Switch. So if I ever replay this game, it would absolutely be on PS5. This was only $15. Great for a game that's less than a year old. Another game that's less than a year old is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I'm a massive fan of the Avatar films. Avatar 1, especially Way of Water, are two of my favorite movies. So I think I would really like this game. I also like Far Cry and Ubisoft open world stuff, but this game seems pretty cool. So I'm excited to dive into this. Had an install, even though this is a disc, it had an install of like 130 gigabytes. That just drove me bonkers. And the only one of these games that I just played since I got it, of those 3 games at least, is Forspoken from Square Enix. The last game from Luminous Productions, starring our girl there, Frey Holland. I think the game's fucking bunk. I played, 4 hours of it. I thought the combat was boring. I thought the movement, which looked cool, was not very fun to control. And the story was bad, and the environment design was bad, and I found the writing was bad. So, yeah. All right, let's see what is up next. A new game, Astrobot. Again, this is covering my games that I got from September through now, middle of November. Astrobot, oh man, I love this game. Great game. Team Asobi does not miss. I've liked all the games of theirs that I've played. And I'm so glad Astro finally got a full-ass game. Retail release. I actually have a Rescue Mission as well over there. But retail release, substantial content, great platinum. Just love this game. It's going to be nominated for Game of the Year probably by the time you see this. But yeah, of course, go buy it. It's Astro. If you're watching this, you probably know and you probably played it. But it's amazing, especially as a PlayStation history geek that I am. But I also am a Don't Nod geek, as I was saying. But I am more so a Life is Strange geek. Life is Strange True Colors from Deck 9 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I think Deck 9 actually does them better. Life is Strange is better than Don't Nod. which I think is probably controversial in like the hardcore Life is Strange community or whatever. But I played all the way through Double Exposure. It's the only Life is Strange game I don't think I'll platinum because it requires 2 playthroughs. But I actually really like this game. I think it's just chill, and I think the animation is great, and the characters are fun, and it uses powers in an interesting way. And so that's really all I want. The story's kind of nonsense when you break it down, and there's like weird plot holes and stuff. But what really matters to me is I got to spend a couple hours with my girl Max Caulfield, and that's really all a man could ask for in this bitch of a world. So I recommend this, and I'm glad that I have a physical copy. This is the only physical Life is Strange game I own. I will go back and collect the other ones, especially True Colors and Life is Strange 1 and 2 because of Don't Nod and, well, I guess, and also Before the Storm, so that's all of them. But yeah, I love Life is Strange. I'm very glad I finally started my physical collection of them. These also came from Bo. A whole stack of them here, actually. Let's do some more Bo stuff. I have a PSVR, as I mentioned. I've played Astrobot Rescue Mission, and PlayStation did some VR demo discs that were sold physically. I don't know if they were sold, but they're here. And I have only... Bo gave me both these. I have Demo Disc 1 and Demo Disc 3, which implies the existence of Demo Disc 2 that I will have to find online. But I'll probably never play these, but it's an interesting part of PSVR history. And inching very, very close to a complete Sony-published PSVR set of games. I was mentioning some sports games earlier. These are for the PSP. This is Gretzky NHL 06 and MLB The Show 07. This is probably the only MLB... God, the camera's reversed. Probably the only MLB game I'll get for PSP. But I have one, and that's good enough for me. And yeah, I don't really expect I'll buy more Gretzky games, which are hockey games, for PSP. But again, did you know that Sony did hockey games? I didn't until about a few months ago. Bo also sold me Ratchet and Clank 1 for $5. Very good deal for this game. Nice black border up there. I love the Ratchet series. I've played this game. I think it's great. But that I have not beaten the final boss because it's so much harder. Just telling you little stories about my experience. Disney's Treasure Planet. Again, why did they publish so many 3D platformers from Disney? Why did they do that? I would really love to interview someone or look into why that deal was struck. But there's a Treasure Planet 3D platformer for PS2 that was published by Sony. And also I bought Sims 1. I have very little experience with The Sims, but I know how important it is. And I would love to sort of get into the history of the series and see how they evolve over time. And here is a good place to start because that's the first game, one of the most important games of all time. So I'm glad to have that in my collection. We are wrapping things up here with another final game from Bo. No, actually, that's not true. Hold on. These games are all from Bo. Tourist Trophy for PS2. This is the only non-Gran Turismo racing game that the studio Polyphony Digital has made since they started the Gran Turismo series. And so I'm very glad I had this. I got this. This is a motorcycle racing game, but it's just a cool piece of their history because basically they've only been doing one thing for 30 years. But Tourist Trophy was a nice little detour they did. So I'd like to try this game. I'm not sure I'll like it too much, but it's a very fun piece of history. And then finally, the last games from Bo were some Xbox One games. And all of these are... They're Xbox adjacent or Microsoft adjacent games. Project Spark. I don't think this game works anymore. I think it's kind of like a Dreams type thing. But this was published by Microsoft. Yeah, I really don't know too much about that one. Bleeding Edge, coming from our friends at Ninja Theory, who I like Ninja Theory a lot. That Ninja Theory is actually kind of another one like Don't Nod, where their insistence on new IP and different ideas kind of draws me to them. This is a game that Microsoft published for them. Actually, the first game that Microsoft published for them was Fusion Frenzy on the original Xbox, which I do not have. Because that game is actually reasonably expensive, like $25, something like that. But Bleeding Edge is a hero brawler, hero shooter kind of thing that came out in 2020, right before the series consoles came out. In between Hellblade 1 2, which I think people don't really realize that they took a detour. I've played the demo, or not the demo, like the intro to this game or the tutorial, and it's really stupid. But Xbox did publish this. I don't even think it's really going to be played anymore. This is an online-only game. You can play the intro to it. Classic Crackdown 3 Terry Crews game. Yep. This is the kind of thing you pick up if you're going for a complete Xbox One set from Microsoft, because this is the kind of games they did. Back there, I've got Quantum Break, I've got ReCore, I've got Sunset Overdrive. I mean, it's a really dire list, man. I mean, man, I'd love to make a video about just how bad the Xbox One's first-party lineup was. I mean, it's just legendarily stupid. But the final game is the reason why I said Xbox or Microsoft tangential. We Happy Few is not a game published by Microsoft. At the time, it was actually published by Gearbox. But soon after the release of We Happy Few, which is a game I have not played yet, but I'd like to, Compulsion Games, the developer, were acquired by Microsoft, and their next game, their second game after this, South of Midnight, is coming out next year. So I thought I'd have this as sort of a pre-joining the Xbox family, part of the collection, part of the family kind of game. So yeah, my Xbox One collection grows slowly but surely. And then the final game came out today, and that is LEGO Horizon Adventures for the PlayStation 5. I like Horizon. I like Horizon quite a bit. Zero Dawn, I think, is an amazing game, actually. And I know that this is going to be weird, but I like that. I think 2024 is one of my favorite recent Sony years because it's just full of weird stuff, and nowhere is that more apparent than LEGO Horizon Adventures, a LEGO spin-off of Horizon. What the hell is that? But that brings me to the end here of this video. I went over, if I estimated 35 games, 45 games, let's go with 45. So I have gotten a lot of games over the last few months. Really only the Silent Hill games cost me anything specific other than Freaky Farms Deluxe. That everything else was very affordable. And that's what I like about games history, is getting the affordable stuff and filling out sort of just the breadth of the industry rather than the top cost stuff. But thank you very much for watching this sort of low stakes, low effort, me talking to the games I picked up. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.